Biden is ordering the Department of Justice to end private prisons. And he's doing like 6 other industry unfriendly things. What's happening? I expected 0 of those. President Biden is coming in hot with a massive shock and awe campaign. First, he's ordered the DOJ to end private prison contracts. I mean, really? Wow. Seriously, he's talking about that in terms of being a racial justice issue as well. I mean, first, he mentions systemic racism in a speech for the first time in history of the Republic, and now he's actually doing something, which is not everything, but it's also not nothing. I know I said we have to get ready to tolerate some good things happening, but even I was not prepared for this. I'm literally shocked. Maybe you can relate to me in this area, but I am not used to Democrats having a spine at all, much less against a corporate interest. Before signing that executive order, Biden said that the U.S. government needs to change its whole approach on the issue of racial equity. He said out loud that the nation is less prosperous and secure because of the scourge of systemic racism. He did that. He connected out loud security and racism. And then he took a swing at corporate tyranny. Hello. He said ending the private prison contracts is the first step to stopping corporations from profiting off incarceration. I mean, really, what is happening? Did he get a little Bernie on his shoulder? Versus that's Ayn Rand over there, in case you can't see it that good. I'm just saying. I'm hearing also that through leaks to the Washington Post, so it's still unofficial, although it may be official by the time this video gets from my face to you via YouTube. Anyway, that he is making historic commitment to environmental justice, the likes of which have not been seen in decades. Okay, sure. He has still said we're not going to ban fracking. He said that out loud. But he is going to transition the United States away from fossil fuels. And by the way, that is not going to be popular with certain multinational corporations. And I'm sure, all those folks who proudly pound the drum of energy independence aren't going to keep pounding it when that independence comes from green sources. But hey, he also put a moratorium on oil and gas leases, put in the brakes on some of the bull that Trump did. I mean, Trump was like wholesale selling our environment with no brakes. Anyway, Biden also reportedly established a White House Interagency Council on Environmental Justice and an Office of Health and Climate Equity at HHS. He's forming a separate environmental justice office at the Justice Department. He is directing the government to spend 40% of its sustainability investments on disadvantaged communities who, as we all know, clearly bear the brunt of pollution. And they're especially at risk, by the way, from air pollution, which weakens the respiratory system and in turn has made folks in these communities more susceptible to coronavirus. I mean, I know he said he's not going to ban fracking, and perhaps he is not going to ban fracking. But if he says, I'm going to ban fracking, he's going to lose a whole bunch of people. So I don't know. We're going to have Josh Fox on the show to discuss it later on today. So stay tuned to this YouTube channel right here to get that interview. But I can personally barely process any of this. Of course, there's going to be pushback, and I haven't heard him mention a big jobs program that we desperately need. But Biden is actually doing some of what Marianne Williamson and I spoke of in our interview. I mean, he might be going almost all in. This seems like all in from a Democrat. I mean, there's a danger in voting in an old guy who's already kind of set with money in his legacy. And he also has been deeply hurt by life, so has some compassion and even humility. He might just say, fuck it, let's do it, and go bold with a mic drop. This is bold. You can't deny it's bold. It might not be bold enough, but it is bold, especially coming from Democrats. Biden's a Catholic, perhaps. As St. Francis said, where there is injury, let us sow pardon. If the right-wing Catholics still don't like him now, well, they aren't really Catholics exactly, are they? Anyway, wait. there's more. This thing about the prisons was one of 4 new executive actions that Biden laid out on his racial equity plan. He's also reversing 45's ban on diversity training at the federal level, and he unveiled a fair housing policy. Biden said after introducing that measure that housing is a right in America and home ownership is an essential tool to wealth creation and to be passed down to generations. Housing is a right? He must be sitting in on some DSA meetings. I don't know what's next, and I hope he's not just using our talking points to get us hooked. But I look forward to your comments about neoliberalism and identity politics and Republican obstructionism, or maybe, just maybe, that you too are a little shocked by what seems like some good news, some news we could build on. I'm Julianna Forlano. You're watching Act TV.